Good morning and welcome to the Morning Scoop for Friday, November 13th. This is your daily Buckeye fix. I'm Tom Orr. The Indiana game is 8 days away, and the game against Michigan is in 29 days, 4 weeks and 1 day. Can you believe it? Ohio State is not playing this weekend due to a COVID outbreak in Maryland. You probably know that already. Plenty of other teams are, though, so don't worry. You can still sit on the couch all day Saturday and watch college football. My guest today is Jared. He's the host of the Buckeye Sloopcast, which is part of the Buckeye Scoop Podcast Network. Jared, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tom. I've been hounding you for a long time to finally be on the show. And it all, but here we are. Today is only today. Mm-hmm. Yesterday is not today, and tomorrow is not today. Today is today. And today I'm on the Buckeye Scoop in the morning. I forgot the name of the show.
It's the Morning Scoop.
Scoop.
It's the name of the site and what the time you listen to it. It's pretty complicated.
It's seriously the only, because while I love like the Buckeye Weekly and all the other great podcasts on the network, like that's not just lip service. That's genuinely the truth. When we actually get in season, I stop listening to other Buckeye podcasts because I don't want to just like repeat what other people say. The only exception to that is this podcast, which I listen to every morning, and I completely flubbed on the name of it.
That's all right. As long as you give us a 5-star rating or review, we'll let it go. Now, I assume most of our listeners are probably familiar with your show. We've been telling you to search Buckeye Scoop on Apple Podcasts and all those wonderful places. And Sloopcast is one of the ones that will come up if you do that. But if you, for those who have not maybe heard the Sloopcast before, let folks know what they can expect from you and Kyle on the Sloopcast.
Yeah, we do a longer form podcast. This is like a nice little bite-sized daily one. We do a weekly during the off season. We post pretty much darn near every week of the year on Monday. And then once we get into football season, we add the Friday show. Monday's the recap show and Friday's the pregame show. That's what we do. We do a longer, like I said, we do a little bit more of a longer form. It used to be an hour. It's been inflating lately and we're trying to get that back down. But yeah, as far as like us and the Buckeye Scoop and all of that goes, we're like the courtroom jesters of the everyone. Buckeye Scoop, well, maybe not Tony, but everyone else, very professional, very on top of everything. And Kyle and I are basically the fan voice of the Buckeye Scoop. We're just a pair of jokers who are fans, much more like many of you are, who are listening and or watching this. So that's sort of our role. Our role is, like I said, to be the fan voice on the Scoop.
All right, and you can find the Buckeye Sloopcast wherever you get this show. Just search Sloopcast. You can subscribe right there. So, Jared, it is probably too early to do a way too early look ahead to Ohio State, Indiana. So we're going to look at this weekend's games instead. It is an abbreviated slate. Clemson had a scheduled off week, and more than half of the SEC is sitting out this week due to COVID issues. So between that and the Buckeyes missing this week, 4 of the top 5 teams in the country are not playing. So the top 5 team that is in action is number 2 Notre Dame. They are visiting Boston College. Jared, I'm thinking about not only taking Boston College plus 13.5, but seriously considering this as a possible outright win for Jeff Hafley. Please talk me out of that.
No, I'm not going to talk you out of that. In the show description, because this is now Friday morning, we are also releasing an episode, the Buckeye Sloopcast is. In the show description of that, I ask the question, has Boston College put Notre Dame on upset watch? I think riding high off of the Clemson victory, maybe a little bit, hungover on that victory. Boston College plays everyone close. They play better teams close. They play worse teams close. I think they pretty handedly beat Duke, and I think Virginia Tech blew them out. But outside of that, I think all of their other games, I think maybe except Georgia Tech, were within like 6 points. They were all 1-score games, including a game against Clemson on the high end, including a game against Syracuse on the low end. Every Boston College game has been really close. So if we're talking line, we're talking 13.5 points. I'm taking Boston College all day. And I agree with you. I think it'll be one of those games where it comes down to maybe not who has the ball last, because these teams can play defense, but we'll be watching the last drive. I think is my stone cold prediction for this is we'll be watching the last drive of this football game.
Yeah, Boston College came down to the last drive against Clemson. Boston College came down to a last-second kick against Texas State. So yes, they have run the gamut of FBS football this year, and it's pretty much all been close. One that probably will not be close. Number 7 Cincinnati at home tonight against a terrible East Carolina team. They're favored by 4 touchdowns. We're not going to waste anyone's time with the game pick here. Instead, I'm going to ask you, can the Bearcats go into Selection Sunday for the college football playoff unbeaten? Can it happen?
I think so. Last year we saw a really good American conference, and I don't think that's the case this year. I think it's mostly just Cincinnati. Memphis is not that good this year. SMU's pretty good, but Cincinnati's already beat them. I think that we can absolutely see Cincinnati get into Selection Sunday undefeated. Now, that being said, I've also cautioned people, and East Carolina is real bad, so I'm not necessarily saying that's the case here, but I've basically been counting 2020, just all of it, just the whole. Let's go through a thing without mentioning the virus, but the entirety of 2020 has basically been like a bad weather game. It is neutralizing talent. It is bringing everyone a little closer to mediocrity. I think that's why we've seen so much, we like to track team chaos on our show. I think that's why we've seen so much team chaos so early this year. Just everything that is 2020 is, like I said, like playing in a downpour. It's just bringing everyone closer to the middle. So all games are on the table this year, in my opinion. That being said, I think Cincinnati still wins this pretty easily.
Yeah, today is a day when we're combining 2020 with Friday the 13th. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, no. No.
Now, tomorrow or on Saturday the 14th, maybe the weirdest line of the week. Number 9, Miami. Okay. Top 10, Miami. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Visiting Virginia Tech, who just lost at home to Liberty. Okay. Mm-hmm. The Hokies are a 2-point favorite. This, to me, just feels like one of those games where it's like, aha, this seems too easy. Someone knows something. I don't know who the someone is, and I don't know what they know, but someone knows something if Virginia Tech is a 2-point favorite against number 9, Miami.
The only thing that explains this is if we find out on Saturday morning that King can't play and that someone in Vegas already knows it and that no one else knows it. Maybe he hit positive on a test or something. I don't know, but a lot of people are playing we play this game with Texas and Michigan, are they back game. And we're sort of playing that game with Miami right now. And I think King is amazing. And I think he's so good that he's pulling a Louisville. Remember when Louisville was pretty good for a couple years?
Mm-hmm.
And then Lamar Jackson wasn't the quarterback, and then Louisville went back to being Louisville? I think that's what we're seeing out of Miami right now. So the only thing that explains this, because I don't think Miami's all that good, is if someone knows King isn't playing.
Yeah, and I mean, in case you didn't watch that Virginia Tech Liberty game last week, that was maybe the craziest ending to a game I've seen. I mean, this has been a year full of crazy everything.
We've had some ones to pick from this year.
Yeah, that was Liberty lined up for a 59-yard field goal with like 10 seconds left of the game. Kicked it. It got blocked. It got run back for an apparent game-winning touchdown for Virginia Tech. But Justin Fuente had called timeout right before the kick. So the game-winning touchdown got wiped off the board. Liberty got Liberty using this newfound information, which is our kicker can't make a 59-yard field goal, lined up to take one more snap because they had 10 seconds or so left. Virginia Tech dropped 8 guys. Basically, I mean, all of them were playing the Jabril Peppers, like deep center field position, basically. And Liberty went, okay, we'll take the free 8 yards or so. Ran a quick out, got him down to about a 51-yard field goal, and ta-da, kicked the 51-yard field goal to win. That was a way to lose, Justin Fuente. That was not outstanding.
We've been doing the ice the kicker thing for maybe a decade now. That's now been popular. The statistics are out. It doesn't work. Stop.
Yeah. Stop kicking field goals when you probably shouldn't. Stop kicking field goals on 4th and 2, and stop trying to ice the kicker. Neither of those things are good.
No, it does not work.
Something that is good. Number 10, Indiana. That is a real thing. Number 10, Indiana.
Yep.
if you have just woken up from a coma for the last 8 months or so, we have some things to catch you up on. One of them is that Indiana is a top 10 team. They're visiting Michigan State. Any concern for the Hoosiers in East Lansing?
Always. I'm playing the Team Chaos is king this year. Everyone's gravitating towards the middle. That's one of the things we talked about on the Buckeye Sloopcast is, hey everyone, it's a good thing we're not playing Maryland, which is just to say that always any given Saturday, but this year especially. So yeah, any given Saturday. That being said, I've also been team Michigan State is absolutely terrible. Everyone watch how terrible Michigan State is this year. And I've been really, really impressed with Penix's growth. And he's the Indiana quarterback, in case anyone watching doesn't know that. Penix's growth from freshman to sophomore, I think, has been amazing. And a common thing we say on the Sloopcast is, when in doubt, pick the quarterback, and Indiana has a good quarterback.
Yeah, Rocky Lombardi looked really incredible for like 2/3 or so of that Michigan game, and turned back into a pumpkin last week at Iowa City. They got annihilated by Iowa. Yeah, a little bit of a hangover game, probably.
It's almost like Michigan is the commonality.
Big if true, as they say on Twitter.com. Number 11, Oregon visits Wazoo. This is a weather game. You talked about treating the whole year like a rain game. This is potentially a weather game. The forecast calling for a high of 42 and the dreaded wintry mix on the Palouse. Washington State practiced inside. They traveled to the University of Idaho, which is only like 10 minutes away. Practiced inside the Kibbe Dome this week because I think the weather was real lousy in Pullman. So Oregon favored by 10 this week. This feels like a game where if the Ducks win by 1, they would just gleefully go skipping out of the stadium and just be happy to get out of town with a win.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, first off, never take my gambling advice because, again, if you listen to the Sloopcast, you know I am terrible at picking against the line. But this definitely feels like a take Washington State here, just for reasons Tom just said. It feels like anything could happen here. That we just know nothing about the Pac-12. This is week 2 for the Pac-12. We know that Washington State beat Oregon State, which is the equivalent of Maryland beating Rutgers, or probably we should throw Illinois in there somewhere. It doesn't mean anything. And Oregon beat Stanford. But again, we have nothing to check that against. So what does any of this mean? I don't know. It's the Pac-12. We don't have anything to compare anything against. This is another high probability for Team Chaos for an upset this weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, think back to the first week of the Big Ten versus the second week of the Big Ten, or the first week of the SEC versus the second week of the SEC. If we have seen anything, it's don't overreact to the week 1 results, because that's how you end up saying, aha, Mike Leach has cracked the code to SEC defenses. Friends, no, he has not at least yet. Speaking of teams that are maybe not as good as they looked in week 1. Hey, we mentioned Michigan earlier. We get to talk about Michigan again.
Yeah.
Michigan has not looked anywhere close to what they looked like in week 1, and neither has Wisconsin. And that's mostly because Wisconsin hasn't played since week 1 of the Big Ten season. So it's number 13 Wisconsin visiting Michigan. Badgers favored by 4.5. Who do you like? The team that got killed by Sparty and Indiana the last 2 weeks, or the one that hasn't played since the first week? Who you got here?
I think when in doubt, pick the quarterback. That's a Sloopcast-ism. And we've only seen Graham Mertz play in 1 game, but he looked amazing. And this isn't out of nowhere. Ohio State wanted Graham Mertz. Let's be very clear about that. Ohio State wanted Graham Mertz, and he chose Wisconsin. So this is a very highly talented quarterback. That was, it kind of feels like last year we said, LSU has a quarterback. I kind of feel that way about Wisconsin right now. Wisconsin has a quarterback. And we don't have a ton of evidence for Wisconsin right now. Again, their 1 win is against Illinois. And we only know 2 things for sure in the Big Ten right now. Ohio State is good and Illinois is bad. I think that's it. But we have a lot of evidence that the secondary in Ann Arbor is horrendous. So Graham Mertz against the Michigan defensive backs, I'm going to take that.
Now, I mean, pick the quarterback. That's good advice generally. What is Wisconsin's quarterback situation going to be this weekend? I mean, Graham Mertz is playing, supposedly. How much has Graham Mertz stepped on a football field and thrown a football to actual real life human beings in the last 21 days? That's kind of an open question right now to me. I have Michigan in this one. And I don't feel particularly confident in Michigan. This is one that I would not put any of my hard-earned dollars on, because I think this is. I mean, we talked about the move from week 1 to week 2 and the uncertainty there. This is week 1 to week 2 for Wisconsin, so you've got that uncertainty. Plus, they haven't played a game in 3 weeks. Graham Mertz has possibly, if he's the quarterback, he hasn't played. He maybe has practiced a couple days. That's about it. I don't know what you're getting this week. And Michigan is Michigan. Michigan has its issues. If Graham Mertz is there and on, he could light them up. And if he is not on, Joe Milton looked like a functional, decent quarterback last week. He did not 2 weeks ago. He definitely, Joe Milton's come a long way in the last couple of weeks. I don't know what the heck to think about this game. This would be the biggest stay away in the history of stayaways to me. But gun to my head, I think I have more confidence in Michigan just because there's so many questions about Wisconsin.
Yeah, what I know about Wisconsin is that they want to throw the ball this year. And what I know about Michigan right now is that they can't do anything about it. So yeah. If Mertz is healthy, if Mertz is, and able to go and reasonably sharp, if he looks anything like he looked against Illinois, yep, sure. They beat Michigan. There's a lot of questions. This is one of those things where there are a couple of questions Wisconsin has to answer before before what they are. Michigan, what they are. They're not great, but there are fewer question marks there, I think, for Michigan. Yep. The last one for us, number 23 Northwestern at Purdue. Still no Rondale Moore for the Boilermakers. They also have a few other players who are going to miss this one, including defensive end George Karlaftis. Just going to throw this out there. If Wisconsin misses another game, they would not be eligible for the Big Ten championship game. This could be the game that determines the Big Ten West champion. It has been a weird, again, if you've been in a coma, well, I'm just going to let you know, TLDR, it has been a weird year. Oh man, I had not done the math on that one yet. Yeah, so what do we know about the Big Ten right now? We know that Illinois is terrible. We know that Purdue barely beat Illinois last week. Difference of only 7 points. And Northwestern's weird because you talk about that jump from week 1 to week 2. They destroyed Maryland. Now, at the time, we didn't think much of that. And so we have to ask ourselves what changed with Little Tua, because Little Tua looked horrendous against Northwestern and has looked really, really good since. What is that a matter of Little Tua's first big boy start and maybe just coming out with a little too much nerves and not being prepped? Or is that Northwestern's defense being really good? Truth, probably somewhere in the middle. I tend to think it was more the quarterback being nervous. I'm going to go Northwestern here, and I'm basing that mostly on Purdue not destroying Illinois. And again, I only know 2 things in the Big Ten for sure right now, and one of them is that Illinois is terrible. So I'm going to dock Purdue for only beating Illinois by 7 points and go with Northwestern. That's the entirety of it.
I will dox Purdue for you. The address is Ross-Ade Stadium, West Lafayette, Indiana. I don't know the zip code. You can find that on your own. Jared, thank you for joining me today. Please let people know where they can find you on Twitter and where they can find your show.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Sloopcast. That's pretty self-explanatory. You can also follow my co-host Kyle. He's at Sloopcast Kyle. And we have a bunch of links. We upload our podcast to the Buckeye Scoop network, both in podcast land and in YouTube land. And we have merch stores where you can buy this the Buckeye Sloopcast Ninja Turtle parody. Legally, it is a parody, legally speaking. We have a bunch of links. You can find all those links at thesloopcast.com. All it is a landing page to find other links. So yeah, just go to the sloopcast.com and you can find our Twitter handles there, our merch stores, our Patreon, our all that happy stuff. You can find at thesloopcast.com.
I will throw in a plug for the t-shirts. There are some fantastic parody t-shirts in there, like old World War II propaganda posters.
Yes.
Like you can look at some of those and it's like only like 2% of the people around me are going to get this, but man, the 2% who get this are really, really going to enjoy this. So yes,
I know you like the when you ride alone, you ride the Harbaugh one. I know you're a fan of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Tom, I will buy it for you if you promise to wear it on the morning scoop.
Not sure that would meet the standards of professionalism we aspire to here on the morning scoop, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Well, once again, that's why we're the jesters and you're the professionals.
Well, Jared, thank you for joining me this morning. Make sure you check out all of our great podcasts, including the Sloopcast on Buckeye and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, all of those places where you can find podcasts. If you just type in Buckeye Scoop, you'll find all of them will pop up for you. We have, I think, 13 or 14 shows now, and there's been a conversation.
I lost count.
Yes, there's been a conversation about starting another one pretty soon. So if we don't have a podcast about it, you don't need to know about it. So you can find all that stuff on all your podcast platforms of choice. Subscribe right there. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review while you're there. That does help new folks find the show. Also, make sure you subscribe to BuckeyeScoop.com. As I mentioned off the top of the show, the Michigan game, 29 days away. So if you sign up today, your membership for your first month, that first 30 days includes the Michigan game. Seems like there's going to be some football games of note the next month, and would be a great time to be a member of Buckeye Scoop. Just go to BuckeyeScoop.com and you can sign up right there. And, if you're looking for a Christmas gift for someone else or looking for a Christmas gift for yourself, hey, a Buckeye Scoop membership would be a fantastic gift. And you don't even have to go to the store and you don't have to go to the mall. That's an even bigger draw this year than in a normal year. So thank you guys for joining us. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the football. We will talk to you Monday.